In a world where cyber threats strike every second, your business needs more than protection. It needs real-time defense. Welcome to the Crow Cybersecurity Operations Center, where vigilance meets technology. Here, our expert analysts monitor your networks 24/7, detecting attacks the moment they appear. They investigate, contain, and neutralize threats, keeping your business secure and running without disruption. We detect, we defend, we recover. Crow UAE. Build a safer digital future today.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome for this webinar. Thank you so much for joining. You are joining actually. Let us know that this particular webinar is of your interest. Why is it? What I think we can actually cover that over the period. What is brand protection, why it is important for you, and then you've joined, then what exactly are the key takeaways for you from this webinar. I think we are just going to unfold all that during this webinar. So, but before getting into the webinar, I just wanted to give some introduction about our Crow. So Crow UAE is a member firm of Crow Global. It is one of the top 10 global networks in auditing. We are listed at 4-5, some kind of place in the top 10. So after the big fours, I think Crow UAE is Crow Global is one of the listed auditing firms in the top 10 global networks. So it is 6.5 billion revenue. We have 800 plus offices. It is spread across 140 plus countries, and then we have almost 55,000 plus employees working across the globe. In UAE, we are here from last 44 years. We have 550 plus professionals working in the Crow UAE. We have offices in 5 different locations in Abu Dhabi, ADGM, Dubai, DFC, and Sharjah. And we have been here from almost 44 plus years in the UAE region. And then the Crow Cyber Threat Management. Because this webinar is conducted because Crow actually has multiple divisions. So this webinar is conducted by this Crow Cyber Threat Management, and I am Shahnawaz Sheikh. I head the Cyber Threat Management for Crow. We have a global reach and the local expertise, which means we actually are bringing, because cybersecurity is all about information sharing and all. So as we have Crow expanded in 140 plus countries, so what we have done, we actually have brought 10 countries as in a steering committee, and then all the cybersecurity initiatives taken by these 10 actually are a joint venture kind of thing. So we actually share information, we share all the threat intelligence, we share our advanced capabilities and all. So these 10 countries work very closely from cyber threat management perspective. And then coming to the today's agenda. Because we are going to cover a lot of areas in the brand protection and then digital risk protection. Why we are doing this and all I will cover. So the agenda would be the fraud crisis. What exactly is this particular about? What exactly is this regulation 3057? What are the areas that are required? The monitoring channels, what different channels are supposed to be monitored, what kind of reportings, the regulatory reportings or the management reportings, the senior management reportings, all, and what exactly are the key takeaways. And then at the end, I'll give you a demo of the tool or the product that Crow has, which actually helps customer to get compliant to this 3057, which is the brand protection and the digital risk protection tool. So I will give you a quick demo, maybe in the last 15 minutes. So I request everybody to be available for this whole session so that you can actually look into the demo, because you will then understand practically what exactly we are going to do as part of this 3057 regulation. And then I think I'll have maybe 5-10 minutes for any question and answer. You can put it on chat, or you maybe if time permits, we can actually have an interaction. So fraud crisis. So understanding the threat landscape that prompted CBUAE to act. So when I say CBUAE to act, like CBUAE to release this particular regulation, or to release this particular notice. So what exactly, is the main reason, that actually allowed CBUAE or prompted CBUAE to actually release this as a notice and actually make it mandatory for all the LFIs, licensed financial institutions. So why it actually prompted the CBUAE regulator to do this? So the main reason is impersonation identity-based scams are among the fastest growing fraud threats in the UAE. But this, every other right customer I speak to, they always talk about some impersonation that has happened. Some user account got impersonated, CEO account got impersonated, their main domain got impersonated. Right, identity based scams, right? So the user accounts being impersonating, and then right scams are conducted. So this every other organization I hear from people that right some sort of impersonation happened, okay, either in their own organization or maybe I think their friend's organization. But right, every other organization what we see, I think this impersonation and this identity based scams are the fastest growing. So this is the one reason why the notice is very important, or why this notice has been right. I mean, I can say that these are the things that actually made CBUAE to release this notice. Okay. And then 1.2 billion of estimated annual consumer loss from digital financial fraud. So see, one thing you all have to right keep it right in mind and very clear is this is not, we are talking about an internal organizational monitoring. When I say like internal monitoring, like internal insider threats, okay, like we have firewalls, we have antivirus, we have EDRs, we have email security gateways. So there are a lot of internal security controls we are having, but we this particular notice or this particular webinar or this digital brand protection is all about external attack surface. It has nothing to do with the internal attack. So this is all that you are doing the monitoring outside of your organization. So that's why we are talking about from digital financial fraud. So whatever digital transactions are happening outside, I think we are going to cover that. So it is like 1.2 billions of right annual consumer loss that what we see as per the statistics. 36% of UAE business experienced identity spoofing attacks, as I said. Then how fraudsters target customers. Okay, like how are the fraudsters targeting the consumers? So these are some different reasons, or these are some different methods how the fraudsters are targeting the consumers. So one is fake websites, okay, where they actually create lookalike domains, then spoofing the bank portals, harvest login credentials and OTPs. So this is very clear, okay, like fake websites. And then phishing emails and SMS, branded emails and WhatsApp messages. The email looks like coming from a genuine domain or from a very branded, reputed organization, but actually it is not. It is just a fish, right? It is a phishing email that was received, but the people who actually receive these emails, if they are not able to identify this, if they're not able to detect or differentiate between a normal genuine email and a phishing email, then they actually become victim of this particular phishing emails, right? So this is one method that the fraudsters use to target the consumers. And then the fake social accounts on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, you see, right? For example, if I take like XYZ company has just released some offer, okay, like you buy this much, maybe I think 300 dirhams, something you buy, then you will actually get a right lottery ticket, something, right? I think they do a lot of social media promotions. A lot of organizations does that. So now the fraudsters actually take that, okay, and then what they do is actually on the same social media platform, they actually impersonate that particular domain, and then they say that, okay, you actually won this lottery of 1 lakh rupees, which we have said. So now obviously you will go back and check, okay, I think, yeah, this actually was from XYZ company who actually has did this promotion. And then now you have received this message. That means you actually intend, you you will be right made to believe that, okay, this is from actually the right real organization. So these kind of some fake social accounts are getting created, and these kind of right promotional things gets published on these social media platforms, be it Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube, right? Any platform, I think they're using it to do these activities. And then fraudulent mobile apps. So when you go to App Store, when you go to Play Store, okay, so there are like a lot of mobile apps that are right created or developed by the fraudsters, where they actually use the logos of the genuine company. Like you can see actually Google right as the logo, and then application that is not at all right that belongs to Google. So they use this very famous brands or very right genuine brands which people trust, and then they actually create this fraudulent mobile apps, and these mobile apps actually are in the Play Stores or in the App Stores, or they actually right give you some links where you just click on it and then the application gets downloaded. So these kind of fraudulent mobile apps are also being right developed by the fraudsters. AI deepfakes, I think this is something very recently we have come across. I will not say this was a very old thing, but yeah, I think maybe the last 1.5 year or 2 years, I think we have been seeing this AI deepfakes where the CEO of a bank or the CXO or the CFO or like whoever is senior management, I think, for example, obviously the CEO, the CFOs, right, the senior management, they do a lot of events, right? They do a lot of seminars. They actually reach. So the attackers or the fraudsters actually take those videos, okay, and then they actually using those videos, they actually create right deep fake videos, okay, and then they actually try to impersonate those senior managements or the VIP level people and try to fraud the executives and the staffs. Because if I receive a deep fake video from my CEO or from my manager, my first thing is, okay, how can I immediately right help my CEO, or how can I immediately accept what my CEO is saying? I don't do that check that right whether it is a real video or not, right? Because that is a human tendency. And then fake card offers, okay, like upgrade or reward campaigns targeting, right? These kind of things also you see, right? Every time we see these. So these actually are the how the fraudsters are targeting the consumers. And the brand protection, the 3057 is actually trying to help you to avoid or to protect the organizations, specifically the LFIs, the licensed financial institutions, from these particular targets. Now, right, the trigger for action. So what exactly, right? So one, brand impersonation, domain names misuse, and then fake paid advertisements, and then phishing and social engineering. So these are the four main reasons. There can be 100 different reasons, but the main four reasons what we experienced or what we understood, right? Why exactly this notice is important, why this notice actually got triggered is these are the four fundamental reasons. Okay. So the brand impersonation where unauthorized use of bank logos, names, product identifiers are being used, domain name misuse, typo squatted. Okay, like for example, instead of GOGLE, I think somebody used G0OGLE, right? So typo squatted. So they just did small from O, actually they changed it to 0. So these are very, very difficult to identify by a right a normal eye. Okay, I think when I am very busy, so sometimes I don't look into that particular domain. I quickly click on that, but again after that I realized that it was not Google, but it was G0OGLE, right? Instead of 1O, I think somebody used GO0. So it actually got typo squatted. Lookalike domain was created, and then once we click on it, I think our transactions or whatever is there, I think the attacker will be able to get hold of it. Fake paid advertisements on Google and social media platforms, and then phishing and social engineering. Okay, like people calling, social engineering, like okay, on phone phishing attacks, your phishing attacks, and all. So these are the four main fundamental reasons why this particular notice is now available and has made mandatory by the regulator for all the LFIs to get complied. Okay. I'll just get into it. I actually gave you why actually this 3057 has come into act, right? And then what exactly is this 3057? What is the scope? What is the applicability? Who all actually, right, it affects to? I think I'll just cover this. Okay, so about the 3057 regulation, okay, a comprehensive regulatory framework issued by the central bank. Okay, this is from the CBUAE, designed to address digital impersonation, fraud risk, and brand misuse across financial and digital ecosystems in the UAE. So this is the, right, as I said in the before slide, so these are the fundamental reasons why, okay, this particular regulations was released. Issued by central bank. Target is licensed to financial institutions. All the licensed financial institutions, it can be exchange houses, it can be banks, it can be insurance companies, it can be insurance brokers, it can be, right, any licensed financial institutions has to comply to this particular 3057 regulations, because this is applicable to all the LFIs. Addresses brand identity protection, combat digital impersonations and fraud, strengthens consumer trust framework. Obviously, right, because I think when you actually focus on your brand protection, when you focus on your digital impersonation, it will actually help you grow that consumer trust. Okay, that strengthens the consumer, that consumers will trust your brand more when you actually have all these things in place. Then introduces compliance obligations and enforcement. So this is about, in a nutshell, about the 3057 regulation. Intent behind 3057, what exactly is the intent? The first intent actually is to protect. So what to protect is the brand identity of LFIs from unauthorized use and misrepresentation. So this is the foremost and the fundamental requirement or the reason or the intent of 3057 to protect your brand. Second one is to prevent. So anybody trying to deter, okay, like manipulate your digital impersonation, anybody is trying to do phishing, anybody is attempting social engineering attacks, this particular regulations will help you. For example, if you are complying to this regulation, so this particular regulation will help you to prevent from these digital impersonations, phishing attacks, social engineering attacks. So the the intent of this regulation is not only to protect you, also to prevent you from these particular attacks. Then preserve, like maintain consumer confidence in digital financial services through accountability and transparency. Then enforce, like establish clear compliance obligations with enforcement mechanism for non-compliance. If you're non-compliant, you actually have to enforce it. So these are the intentions why this particular regulations is into act now, and it has become mandatory. Okay, who must comply? All the UAE licensed banks, exchange houses, the payment service providers, the crypto and forex platforms, if CBU has regulated them. Okay, payment aggregation services, merchant acquiring services. So these are the 6 different LFIs that we actually have captured here. So all these 6 has to get comply as per the CBU regulations, because in the regulations, if you see, it is very clearly mentioned, it is for all the LFIs. So all this actually falls into LFIs. So these 6 different categories of businesses has to actually be complied to this particular regulation. Now you need to sit step back and then sit and decide whether you fall into whether you fall as into bank category, in exchange house category, payment service providers, crypto and forex. So where exactly you fall, you need to check. If you're falling into this, if you're falling into any of the LFIs, then this particular regulation is applicable to you. Okay, then adjust like without versus with law. So what actually happens without these regulations if you're not getting comply? Okay, and what happens when you actually comply to these regulations? So if you're not complying to these regulations, that means you will not have any brand asset inventory. When I say no brand asset inventory, you actually don't know what exactly, like what kind of domains you are having, what kind of social media platforms you are having, what kind of so different like mobile applications you are having, because when you're actually complying, you will not have all this inventory. Then second one is reactive instant response. So you'll always be reactive, you'll not be proactive. Then consumer unaware of scams, because customers will not even be aware of any scam that has happened. It can be a social engineering scam, it can be social media platform that got somebody scammed using the social media platform. So the customers will not be aware of, if we are not complying to this regulation. No impersonation monitoring, obviously, you will not have any monitoring of impersonations happening. Third party brand misuse unchecked. If somebody is misusing your third party brand, I think it completely gets unchecked, and regulatory penalties and fines. Obviously, when you don't do all this, because this regulation is now mandatory, you will have all the regulatory penalties and fines. It can be, because this is very recently released one. So what kind of penalties and fines are still, we have to wait because the CBUAE has to release what penalties and fines they are going to apply on the people or the organizations that are non-compliant. Okay. And then with compliance. So when you actually get comply, first thing you can see it is green, because that means green is always something that you can continue. So complete digital asset cover governance you will have a complete picture of what all digital assets you have in your organization. Then you can actually have a governance for that. Okay. And then proactive detection and response. It will not be reactive, it will be proactive, because you already have somebody monitoring it, detecting it, and then I think somebody responding to it. So it becomes completely proactive. Then consumer awareness programs, Consumer will be aware, okay, what all things are happening, what scams are happening, So you'll have that. Then real-time brand monitoring, 24/7, you will have somebody, monitoring your brand. So when I say brand, actually it is a domain, okay. And then third-party compliance framework, then regulatory alignment and trust. So these you actually get when you actually comply to this 3057 regulations. Critical compliance timelines, So what exactly are the timelines for this? So I'm sure you, most of your organizations have received this notice from CBUAE. Okay. So as per this, it was released in February 2026. See, this February 2026, I'm talking about 3057 actually was there from last year, 2025. But this specific to brand monitoring, they have released a general notice, okay, which is released in February month. Okay, you can say it is an amendment, right, to 3057. You can maybe say that, right, because it is general notice that released in February 2026 by CBUAE. As per that notice, by 31st March, you need to completely have a full brand monitoring implementation. Okay, 31st March, we are already May, right? I think we are 20th May, I believe. Yes. So we have already crossed more than like 1.5 months now, right? So by 31st March was actually the deadline to have a full brand monitoring implementation. And then you have one more deadline, which is 30 June. We still have a time, like, because we're in May, so we'll still have like maybe 1.5 month time to, in case if you don't have it, right? Because there will be a first risk assessment, okay, which you need to submit to CBUAE. So now, will CBUAE come and do an audit and ask for this assessment report, or you need to submit that assessment report to the CBUAE? How exactly that will happen? We have to wait, because still there is no very clear information. But yeah, I think the deadline that is mentioned is by 30 June, we have to submit our first risk assessment report to the CBUAE. Now, how we have to submit it, what medium we have to use and all, I think we will come to know about it, right? I think once CBUAE provides more information. Then ongoing annual assessments, obviously, right? Because this 30 June is the first assessment, but going forward, I think you have to do annual assessment and submit your reports to the CBUAE regulator. That you have a brand protection solution, you have implemented it, and there is a 24/7 monitoring happening. So you need to give that reports and assessment reports to the CBUAE regulator. Okay, so what LFIs must complete by 31st March, as I already covered, but I'll simply request all you to go through this, like full implementation of all brand monitoring controls, documented monitoring workflows, and takedown procedures. Takedown procedures are very important, because if you see something, brand impersonation, some phishing attempts, so they should be takedown also, right? That somebody is trying to impersonate your brand. So you need to have that takedown. That means somebody should actually be available to help you to completely take down that impersonated domain, right? Whoever is trying to do that impersonation, the domain has to be taken down. So that takedown procedures you need to clearly document it. DMARC policy, it like reject or quarantine for all consumer facing domains. So whatever consumer facing domains you have, right, public facing domains or external facing domains, you need to have this DMARC policy. What is this DMARC policy? All I think maybe we'll cover in the coming slides. Then continuous monitoring activated for high risk channels. Okay. Whatever you feel, because this high risk channels are different from customers to customer, and it is customer who actually has to decide what are the high risk channels for them. Okay, like when I say high risk channels, whether the brand domain name is high risk channel to them, whether the social media platform is a high risk channel to them, whether what exactly is the high risk channel for you, right? So the organization has to decide, or the business has to decide. And then when you decide what is the high risk channel, you need to have a continuous monitoring of that. Then consumer reporting channels and official contact verification. Like you need to have a reporting channels. The consumers have to report something that is going right. For example, you have missed something, right? You have not identified some impersonation, but your consumer have identified. So there should be a reporting channel. They should actually be able to report these kind of frauds to your organization. So this by 31st March, you should definitely have this, all the things that I mentioned. And then what you should have by 30 June. So first formal digital impersonation risk assessment completed. Okay, so what it should cover? It should cover what exactly is your implementation, like what you have implemented, how you have monitored your digital impersonation risk assessment things, what kind of reports you have created, what kind of dashboards you have created, what all channels you are monitoring, like are you monitoring your brand, are you monitoring your social media platforms, are you monitoring your rogue mobile applications, are you monitoring your credential leaks, are you monitoring your credit card leaks or any card leaks? So what all things you're monitoring, you need to ensure that you actually are creating a report, and that report has to be submitted to the CBUAE regulation. All channels assessed with documented risk ratings, like all the different channels which I just spoke about now. So needs to be assessed with a risk rating. Okay. And then threat landscape review, including AA and deepfake risk, and then governance gaps identified and remediation plan in place, and annual assessment cycle established. Like every year when you are going to conduct this annual assessment. So these by 30 June, I think you should have it. So these are something very important, because CBUAE regulations can come, right, can conduct an audit after 30 June. which is not really very far. So you have to be right completely aware of these timelines and prepare yourself so we don't actually end up into unnecessary penalties or any sanctions from the CBU regulation. Okay, the requirement areas, what exactly is mandated? Okay, so the core compliance areas, this is completely from the regulation. Okay, so we have gone through the regulation. Okay, because we as an advisory firm, right, so we have a lot of customers, so we actually advise and then right do consulting to customers. So we have actually got to know about all these regulations and then we have done our research, and these actually are the core compliance areas. So one is governance, you should definitely have it, where your board approval, quarterly reporting, cross-functional ownerships, right, has to be properly documented. Then monitoring, which is a fundamental requirement, I would say, and this is the main reason why this regulation actually is into right act now. It is 24/7 across the channels. Right, what exactly you should do 24/7 monitoring, your domain monitoring, your email monitoring, your social media platform monitoring, or the application monitoring, or the dark web monitoring. This again, I'm talking from external attack surface. I'm not talking from the internal attack surface. Okay, this all are the public facing right things I'm talking about. So domains, when I say the public facing domains, emails, I'm talking about if you are having a domain, obviously some people can actually impersonate that and then send some phishing email. So you need to write whatever domains are publicly exposed. For all that, you need to have a DMARC, DKIM, SPF values, which I'm going to cover in coming slides. Then social media platforms, you always have to monitor if somebody is misusing your domain on Facebook, on Instagram. You have to have 24/7 monitoring happening. The application monitoring, any rogue applications that using your logo, somebody is trying to fake any application. And then so dark web is very important because all this, what I'm saying, this domain monitoring, email, social media, all these things actually are sold on the dark web. Okay, dark web is completely right. So there is a difference between surface web and dark web. So surface web is something we use right regularly, like internet, like Google Chrome, like Edge browser. So all these are right a surface web where we can track everything. But dark web is something can't be tracked, or it is very difficult, I would say, right? It can be tracked, but it is very difficult. It is not that easy how we do right tracking on the internet. For example, today I want to see somebody right access Google, so I can simply go to their history and see what all things he has done. But if same thing, if somebody is expecting me to go and search on the dark web, it becomes difficult because in the dark web they might be using Tor browser, they might be using right different kind of browsers, so which will not right very easy to track or detect. So all this suspicious activities, all this fraudulent activities actually happens on the dark web. So your monitoring should not focus on the internet, right? It has to, right? But maybe I think I would say maybe 10-20% if you're focusing on the surface web, I think your 70 to 80% of focus should be on the dark web. So now how exactly you're going to do this dark web monitoring, this credential card, right? Credential leaks, credit card leaks and all. So we have a tool for that. I think that tool actually helps you do all this monitoring on the dark web. Then prevention, okay, domain hardening, okay, like how you should harden your domain, how you should enforce the DMARC values, how the MFAs for the social accounts should be enabled. So these are some prevention areas, I think, very important. Incident response, like detection workflows, takedown process, and CBUAE. See, a very simple example, right? In incident response, if you come to know, or if you come across a fake domain, okay, let's take maybe XYZ. I don't want to name anything. Maybe I think I can use. Maybe I think let's take Facebook.com, right? Facebook.com. Obviously, most of the people are aware of it. So if somebody actually have faked it or impersonated it, so instead of Facebook.com, if somebody have used it like FACB0OK.com, right? Facebook. So somebody has impersonated it. So there should be a takedown process also for that. Okay, because how exactly you're going to take down that fake domain. So that takedown process is really very important. Okay, so how you can do it, I think that we are going to in the demo, I think I will show you. Okay, I think takedowns and all, right, not very detailed, but yeah, I can try to cover whatever is possible. Then CBUAE reporting. So you have to report to CBUAE, okay, in case of any material incidents. Training and awareness, annual employee training, quarterly customer campaigns you have to conduct, then metrics and reporting, monthly KPIs, quarterly board reports, immediate incident reporting. So these are the core compliance areas. So if you're actually complying to these things, right, you are good for any kind of CBUE audit that can come right to your organization. So in the governance requirement, so board level oversight, formal board approval for the brand protection program. So it should not be only security team sign off, okay? Because normally what we do is security team will take care of all the security related projects. No, but your board also should approve it. So not only the budgetary approval, obviously for budget, I think we have to go to board, but apart from the budgetary approval, we also have to explain them what exactly is brand protection and all. So we have to take that approval from them. Then accountable roles like cross-functional ownership documented, security, legal, compliance, communications, and IT. So each function must have a named accountable person. So this we have seen as a challenge. So I think that is the reason this has been very specifically called out. That there should be accountable person in every department. For example, in security team, you will have 10 people, maybe you have 8 people, you have 15 people, 20 people. All those 15 people cannot be held accountable. So there should be one, right? Either the security manager, either the chief information security officer, or the security director, whoever it is. So there should be one accountable named person. Similar in legal team, you might have 10 people, but there should be one accountable person, right? Same with compliance, same with communication, same with the IT. So you should have a named accountable person who actually is responsible and is the owner, right, for that particular this brand protection program. These controls are expected to be demonstrated during the supervisory review. When I say supervisory, the audit review. So I think these things you have to definitely demonstrate to the auditors, the CBUAE auditors, when right they come for the audit. Then monitoring requirements, 24/7 monitoring. This is no right, no choice or no option, right? So you actually have to have 24/7 monitoring, okay, of domain. So typo scattering, lookalike domains, unauthorized SSL certificates. So you have to do continuously, not weekly or not daily. So it should be 24/7 and it's continuous monitoring. Email authentication like SPF, DKIM, DMARC is mandatory. DMARC must be at quarantine or reject, and monitor only does not satisfy. Okay. So you need to actually have all this SPF. I think, right, I will show you all this in the demo. Okay, how, right, because I think the tools that are there in the market, okay, we also have a tool, okay, but normally the brand protection tools actually helps you with all these things. Social media and ads, okay, like unauthorized accounts, fake executives, social media, unauthorized accounts, fake executives, fraudulent ads across all major platforms. So this is very important to have 24/7 monitoring. I'm sorry. Card fraud and dark web for card issuers. Okay, if anybody, right, as a LFI, if you're issuing any cards, so you will have an BAN number. So using that BAN number, we can actually go and check on the dark net, on dark web, if there is any cards, right, any card fraud that is happening. Okay. Then for compromised card data is an explicit requirement. Then again, deepfake detection. So AI-generated synthetic media impersonation leadership listed as emerging threat category. So this is very important again, right? This again happens on social media. So deepfake detection also has to be one of the very important monitoring requirement as part of this regulation. So these 5 are very important, right, to you to have a 24/7 monitoring. Prevention requirements. So domain hardening, okay, email hardening, as I said, DMARC, DKM, SPF, all these things has to be properly configured. Then social media hardening, like multi-factor authentication enforced on all the social media platforms. So whoever is managing your social media platforms, I think they should have an MFA and their accounts has to be categorized or considered as a privileged accounts, okay, because they are managing your social media platforms or they are the social handlers. So their accounts has to have MFA enabled. Internal access control and authentication standard documentation should be there. Okay. Then incident response requirement. So detection and escalation. So documented procedure for alert review, evidence preservation. So there is also an evidence preservation also is very important in this whole regulation, like for how long you have to preserve the evidence. It's not only monitoring it and then right the evidence you can remove it. So that evidence also you need to store it for some specific period. I think that I'm going to cover. Then internal escalations, right? Customer communications must exist before an incident. Takedown process, LFI should establish documented escalation and takedown service levels. So you need to actually have this takedown service levels with the service provider that is providing the brand protection solution for you. Whoever is providing the brand protection solution, you need to actually have an agreement with them that in case if you find some fake domain or impersonated domain, how much time, right, will you be able to take down that particular fake domain? Right? Whether it is in 24 hours, whether it is 48 hours, whether it is 72 hours. So that SLA has to be established between the service provider and the organization. CBUAE reporting. So material incidents require immediate reporting to the regulator. So now what is material incidents? I will cover right in the next right few slides. Define what material means in your documentation before it is tested. So you also need to define what is material. So I will tell you what exactly, right, as per the right regulation material means, but you also have to, based on that particular thing, you need to decide whether you actually fall into any material incidents or not, whether it is applicable to you or not. Training awareness and metrics. So mandatory annual employee training with track the completion, quarterly customer email communications, okay, in-app notifications on emerging fraud tactics, regular phishing simulations. So this as part of the training and awareness you have to conduct it with your employees also, with your customers also. Okay, and then metrics and reporting, monthly KPI trackings, detection, response, like how many fake domains got detected, how many fake domains were prevented or takedown, quarterly board reportings, which is very minimum you should do it. Material incident reported to CBUAE. Any material incident, you should ensure that you are reporting to the CBUAE. Then customer awareness, reach, measured and tracked. So, right, see, it's not only your employees that you are training, you also have to have an awareness session on your with your customers also. Now, how you can do it? Maybe I think you can do it right at a kind of like seminar events, you can do a webinar, or you can do some kind of right app notifications to them. But there is like customer awareness you always have to do. Yeah. Then metrics, KPIs, and record keeping requirements. Okay, mandatory KPIs, time to detect and time to take down by channel, which I just spoke about, right? So takedown SLAs are very important. So you need to have the SLAs agreed with the service providers, like how quickly they're going to do the takedown. Then volume of impersonation events by channel and type. When I say impersonation event, like when I say channel, right, it can be social media channel, it can be right impersonating domain directly on the website, it can be right rogue applications, it can be on the darknet or dark web channel. So what different channels is a volume, right? So I think because by this you will know where exactly the right, most impersonations are happening, whether they're happening on the social media platform, whether they're happening on the darknet and dark web for you. So right, it actually helps you to prioritize where you should focus your monitoring. So that is the reason. So volume of impersonation events by channel and type. So you need to have this so that it makes easy to focus or prioritize your monitoring. Consumer reports and confirmed scam incident recovery outcomes, right? Recurrence rate for takedown targets and repeat offender infrastructure. If you are actually seeing a lot of recurring, right? I think same right person or same offender is trying to use your fake domain, then I think you need to have the identification that who exactly are the guys who are right recurring, right? Who are actually doing this impersonation again and again, so that you can actually take some legal actions also on them. Okay, and then number of impersonation incidents correlated with cybersecurity alerts. This is very important. If your service provider is able to integrate your brand protection solution with your cybersecurity solution, like it can be a SOC or something, you can actually correlate, okay, how many impersonated incidents happen and how many cyber alerts actually got triggered with this impersonation incident. So you can actually do that correlation. Then record retention and audit. So minimum you need to have 7 years of retention as per the regulation. So all the evidence, like for example, brand impersonation. So what all activities you have done for the takedown, all that actually has to be recorded for 7 years. In case of any future right requirement, if the regulator asks you, I think you should be able to produce those evidences to them. Then evidence like monitoring outputs, alerts, investigation decision, all takedown requests and outcomes you have to track, and you have to keep it for 7 years, so that in future if somebody is asking you, you should be able to produce it. Consumer communications and advisories subject to periodic independent review and internal audit. Okay, so these things you have to ensure you're actually storing it for 7 years. Third party and vendor accountability. So LFIs remain fully accountable for third party compliance, because what sometimes we feel is, right, our security is only right in our control, right, or we are accountable only for our security, but third party something happens, we are not accountable. But that is actually not the case, because if you see the second point, non-compliance by a vendor is equal to non-compliance by the LFI. Okay, like for example, if I am an LFI organization, if I have a third party vendor who is actually doing my right, maybe app development work, or maybe right anything, I have outsourced it to my third party vendor. So their non-compliance also is actually your non-compliance. So you have to ensure that your vendor also has these solutions available. Okay, so this is all about the supply chain vendor or third party risk management or TPRMs. So right, whether they have it or not, I think that also can be monitored using this brand monitoring solution, which we are having. And then contracts must include monitoring scope, SLAs, reportings, confidentialities, audit rights. I think this has to be very clear in the contracts with the third parties and the vendors. Annual staff trainings on impersonations, risk is mandatory for fraud. So these are very important. Okay, I think I have been covering. I think these are very general things, but you have to have all these awareness trainings with the third party and the vendors. Regulatory reportings, like when and how to notify to CBUAE. So I think this is what I was talking about. You can actually report to CBUAE at ifpd@cbue.government.a. So this is actually the domain. It is there in the regulation. It is there in the notice already. So if you see any material impersonation or scam, so now below you can see 6 different categories which can define whether it is a material incident or not. So this is very important for you, because if you know the 6 categories, it makes your life easy, right? Because not all the incidents you have to report to CBUAE, but these 6 you have to definitely report to CBUAE. If you don't report it to CBUAE and a CBUAE actually comes to know about this incident through any other channel, then it actually becomes a problem. So you actually can end up into right unnecessary penalties and fines, or right some kind of sanctions. So these are the 6 categories which I was talking about. Okay, one is high consumer harm risk, which is like credential harvesting, OTP capture, credit card details capture, or instant. Because if these things has happened for your customers, then actually it is a high consumer, right? Because the consumer actually is at a risk now. See, this whole regulation is actually to protect the customers, okay, and protect your brand, of course. But when you're actually protecting your brand, you're actually protecting the customer only, right? So it is how you're going to protect the customers is the main intent of the regulation. So any credential harvesting, any OTP captures, any card details captures, because obviously this will put the consumer into risk. So this becomes a very high consumer, right? It can harm right to the consumer. So that's why it becomes a material incident. Then second is financial impact. Confirmed or credible consumer loss, large scale fraud attempts, or rapid fraud case, like some fraud that you've seen, it's happening at a very rapid pace. Okay, like somebody is trying to got hold of your BAN number, and he's able to get all the credit card detail, the CVV number, and everything. So it is happening at very high scale, right? And it is obviously having a lot of financial impact. So this also becomes a material incident. Then the scale and velocity, multiple platform propagations, because if, for example, if one attack is only happening on one platform, still okay, maybe you can consider that, okay, I think the attack is very small, so we can handle it. But if the attack is happening on different platforms, it's happening on the social media platforms, it's happening on the rogue mobile applications, it's happening on the dark web, and dark web, that means multiple platforms is used to propagate. Coordinated domains, account networks, rapid replications after takedown. After takedown also you see a lot of things again coming back. So if the scale and the velocity is high, I think you have to immediately report. That also is considered as a material incident. Then paid amplification, like use of paid advertisements or sponsored placements to target the consumers. If you see these kind of, because paid advertisement will happen very rigorously. So if you see any kind of this happening by your competitors or anybody, you have to report it to the regulator. Then critical impersonation, like impersonation of the consumer service channels, card operations, or critical consumer touchpoints. So this also becomes a material incident. Operational severity, like cross-functional incidents handling required, or mass consumer warning issue. Okay, for example, you see that because of some operational issue, maybe at your end, because of some attack or something. So you actually are sending a mass communications or a warning to the customers. So those kind of things also become material, because I think, right, there is a high risk for the consumers to get impacted operationally. It maybe, I think the last one is not more related to security or cyber security, but if from operational purpose, if the consumers are not able to access your application, not able to access your website, it can be an XYZ reason. It can be some upgrade that you're doing. It can be some patch that you're applying. It can be any reason. But if mass consumers are getting the warnings issued, right, that your application is not working because it will work only after. So those kind of things also become material incident, and you have to just inform the IFPD, right, which is the CBUAE domain. So these six are categorized as a material incidents, and you have to ensure that you actually have a proper communication channel so that you can report these kind of incidents to the CBUAE. Okay, so what are the different I was talking about different channels, right? I think I've spoke a lot, right? I was talking about channels. So these actually are the different channels I was talking about. Okay, one is the domains, email, social media platforms I was talking about, ad platforms, app stores. It can be Play Store, it can be App Store, it can be any links using which you actually download the applications, card fraud, right, on the dark webs, payment systems, and synthetic media, which are deep fake A. So these are the different channels that you have to monitor. And on any of these channels, you see anything major that actually becomes a material incident, and you have to report to the CBUAE. Okay, just very quick, right, deep dive. Okay, I think I'm just, yeah, I still have some time. So I'll quickly cover, and then I'll actually jump to the demo so that you can actually see the product and the tool also. So now you see, I think domain and email monitoring.
Sharnavas, there are a few questions also already in the chat.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll take up. I think I'll just finish it. I think, right, I'm almost done. I think I'll just finish this different channel monitoring, and then I'll jump to the demo, and then I'll try to take those questions. If right time doesn't permit, I'll respond to them right after the webinar also. Okay. Yeah. So typo squatting detections. Okay, you see this emiratesnbd.com, right? Here you didn't see, right? You're not able to see the M, so you only see emiratesnbd.co. So people might get impersonated. So they might think, okay, maybe I think it's only co, right? Because there are domains which are with co also, right? emiratesnbd.co, right? I think you have some websites with right not having M also in them. So you actually can get breached, or you can actually get right, can become a victim of these kind of typo squatting. So you have to be very careful, and see, these kind of things you cannot rely on the consumers, or you cannot rely on the employees, that they will actually be very attentive, they will be very focused, they will check everything. And then see, we all actually are having right different priorities, right? I have a different priority, you have a different priority, so we really don't focus right much on what exactly we are trying to access. I simply type EMIRAT Emirates, I get that emiratesnbd.co. I should quickly click on that, and then try to see, I can give my ID and password, and then I'm gone. I've become a victim. But if you actually have a domain monitoring solution, so that actually does right for you. Okay, any these kind of typo squatting domains are there, it will immediately trigger an alert to the organization, okay, or to the service provider, so that the service provider can actually right help you in taking down this particular typo squatting domain. So you need to have somebody actually do this for you. If you're actually right expecting, or if you're relying on the consumers to go and identify and detect this, I think no, that is not possible. Right, it's not something that we can achieve. Maybe I think 100 consumers, I think maybe 1-2 customers can be very attentive and check, but not everybody you expect them to be attentive and look into or identify these kind of typo squatting domains. Lookalike domains, unauthorized SSL TLS certificate monitoring, okay, certificate transparency, log scanning, complete domain inventory maintenance. I think these things you have to monitor. Email protection, SPF, which is the sender policy framework. So in the DNS record for authorized, this actually is a DNS record for authorized mail servers. Okay, so whatever mail servers from where the emails has to be sent, so your mail servers will be added into the DNS record. So this actually is a sender policy framework. So that means any unauthorized mail servers cannot send the emails on your behalf. So that way, actually, you're restricting that the authorized emails can only come from your specified authorized mail server. So that is one preventive measure that you have to immediately take. Then the DKM, which is a domain keys identified mail, like it is a cryptographic signing of messages. Okay, so there is no man in the middle attack who is actually manipulating or interpreting the message. So it will be completely cryptographic, so that anybody right in middle wants to do any changes, I think they can't do it. Then DMARC, which is the domain-based message authentication thing, policy for authentication failure. So DMARC has to be like quarantine or reject. I will actually show you. Okay, DMARC must be right. I will show you in the demo, right, how exactly you will come to know when you are doing the external attack surface monitoring. And monitoring only is not sufficient. Obviously, you have to take action also, because see, for example, if I identify as a service provider some typo squatting domain, okay, I monitored it and I've informed you about it, and we are not doing any takedown. Right, we are not removing it. What is the point? Right? There's no point of monitoring. So if you're monitoring it, there should also be an action taken for that particular monitoring. Okay. Then social media and advertising, unauthorized accounts on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. I think this all has to be monitored. This is not possible without having a platform, without having a solution. Okay, to be very honest. Okay, because then you need to have maybe I think 100 people team, or maybe I think, right, and huge team, right? Maybe 100 people is more, but you definitely would need a very huge team to actually do, if in case you're planning to do it manually. So, right, instead, if you actually have a tool or a solution or a platform, actually it does everything for you. Right? And also it is a one-stop solution. Okay, because it is going to monitor all your channels, right? All the channels that are just listed down, everything gets monitored using the platform. Then fake executive profiles used for business email compromise, fraudster impersonation, CEO, CFO, everything gets monitored. Advertising platforms also, right? On the Facebook, Instagram ads, Google ads, all right. Anybody is using your brand name, right? Unauthorizedly, I think they don't have any authorization to use your brand, right? That also can be monitored. Okay, key risk, right, of any fake executive profiles are increasingly used for the BC attack, like business email compromise attacks. So one convincing LinkedIn profile can authorize fraudulent wire transfers. Okay, so right, one LinkedIn profile, right, a CEO profile or a CFO profile can actually authorize, right, somebody to do some fraudulent wire transfers. So that is the reason why this social media platforms has to be monitored very carefully. And then app stores and card fraud, dark web. Okay. Right, app store monitoring, like counterfeit banking apps on App Store, Google Store. Okay, it can be through some links also. Okay, this has to be monitored. Card fraud and dark web. So as I said, in dark web, stolen payment card data can be traded. Okay, people can actually sell your credit card information, like your CBUAE, your right, because the OTP things can also be manipulated. But in the dark web, you see a lot of people selling your credit card data. Okay. Payment system and emerging threats. So payment processor and financial transfer system monitored for unauthorized use of your brand. So brand abuse in payment systems creates direct financial labor. Obviously, see, your brand cannot be used for any financial transaction. If somebody is using your brand to do unauthorized transaction, that there is a very, very huge risk actually. Okay, so that has to be very carefully monitored. Synthetic media, as I said, I think dark web, this deep fake videos has to be always right monitored, because you cannot just trust somebody saying something on the video. So there should be an authorization also for that. So that is very important that you should do. Okay, maybe I think I'll because I think considering the time, okay, key takeaways from the regulations, I would say. So March 31st was actually a firm deadline. Okay, it's a firm deadline from the CBUAE regulator. So if you have not implemented this solution, I think you should definitely connect you can actually connect with Crow. We can actually help you in implementing this. We have a platform which I'm just going to show you a demo. Monitoring channels required like continuous, not periodic. Don't expect this monitoring to be periodic, because it doesn't make sense, right? Because if you're actually only doing the monitoring maybe once in a week, okay, right, it doesn't make, right, it doesn't apply any logic to me. Okay, it has to be continuous monitoring. Then CBO is driving stronger authentication expectations and reduce reliance on weak authentication mechanism. Ensure that you have MFA. When you say stronger authentication, MFA is mandatory from CBOE. Brand protection plus dark web monitoring is actually visible and hidden threats. So hidden threats you will identify and everything will be visible to you. So right, these two things, right, brand protection and dark web will bring this to you. Governance first, board approval before everything. Training is mandatory, and measure everything, which is like KPIs, KRIs and everything, right? Everything can be measured. So these are the key takeaways from the regulations, okay, that you have to do. Strategic takeaways for your organization. So brand protection will actually, right, is equal to financial crime risk management. So it is actually managing your right financial crime. That means you're reducing your financial crime risk that are happening, okay, using your brand. Then reactive to proactive. So your organization will become more proactive. So you'll not wait for something to happen, your customers to lose, right, some millions of amounts, and then you actually act on it. So you'll actually become more proactive. Then cross-functional ownership, like all your teams will actually hold or held responsible, so they will have that accountability. Okay, then proportionality, like controls must be risk-based. So they cannot, right? It has to be risk, right? You have to understand what channels are very risk-based for you, and then according to that, you need to do the monitoring. Documentation is not negotiable, so you need to have, and 7 years of retention is very important. The clock is ticking, as I said, 31st March already finished, 30 June is almost next month, we have June. So you need to ensure that you have a implementation also, and you are actually conducting a assessment also. So these are some takeaways for you. Okay, I'll quickly connect to the demo. I think I'll just take maybe 5-10 minutes quickly. I'll show you the platform. Then I'll take up any questions. I'll just stop my screen for a minute. Okay, I'm quickly sharing my screen. Let me know if you're able to see it. Okay, you're able to see my screen? Manish, yes?
Yes, Shahnaz, it is visible.
Yeah. So this is actually the brand protection solution, okay, which is like Cygnus Brand Guard. Okay, we have it. Okay, Crow actually, it is a Crow product. Okay, so I'll quickly log in and I'll show you. Yeah. Okay. So I'll just show you what are the different things we have it. Okay. Like maybe I think if I click on the, I'll maybe I think dashboard, I'll show you later because that is something. Okay. See now in the brand monitoring, we actually go and identify rogue applications. So this is right, not real-time data, a dummy data that actually we have showing to you because we cannot show obviously the customer's data. Okay. See if somebody is using this app agg.com Android, somebody is actually using some rogue application. Okay. This was actually for the rogue application. If somebody is using this rogue application, I'll quickly click on this and show it to you. So what exactly? Yeah, see, this is actually a Crow logo, right? So somebody actually used our Crow logo. That is the reason why, right? It actually got triggered. The alert got triggered. So the status is open. So now I actually have to take action on it, right? So now it is the service provider who will do all this monitoring for you. They will actually do this false positive checks, whether it is a false positive, whether it is a true positive. If it is true positive, then what action we should take. So we will actually inform you about this, and then we will take the approvals from you. Then I think we will actually help you in the takedown. So it is our responsibility to do the takedown as well. Okay. But I think the approval and all actually you have to provide. Okay. But again, you will get a final assessment from us. Then based on that, you need to take a call whether you actually want to go for the takedown or not. Okay. Maybe I think I'll open one more, something like this. I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe I think this is not opening something. Yeah, see this one also, I think maybe somebody on App Store. Okay, so it can be genuine also. Okay, it can be genuine, but it is going to give everything. If somebody is using your logo, if somebody is using the use your brand also, it is going to identify and trigger an alert. If it is a false positive, we can actually twist or we can actually tweak this so that next time it doesn't get triggered. But okay, at the first time when you actually do, I think that a lot of false positives you will come across. So, but again, after doing the monitoring, you can identify what are false positives and then we can remove them. Okay. Code repository. It will actually identify if any of your codes, because you actually have applications and things. So if any of your code is application codes are available on the public repositories, it can be like GitHub, it can be GitLab, it can be Bitbucket. Okay. So anywhere, because it can be accidental, right? So your codes might have been leaked. Okay. And then these codes, somebody is trying to put it on GitHub. 1 minute, just give me 1 minute. Sorry. Yeah. Just 1 minute. I'm really sorry for this. Yeah. Okay, so code repository all about if your application code accidentally got leaked, okay, or exposed by insiders or anybody, okay, or through some API keys also it can happen. So if somebody is using your code and stored on any of these repositories, GitHub, GitLab, it actually go and monitor and it will actually give you the alerts. Okay, phishing domains. Okay, for example, see, I think crowfoundation.nl, it is considering this as a phishing domain. So now if I actually click on this alert details, okay, it will actually give me all, okay, what is the domain, okay, what is the AA confidence 85, it will give you the explanation also, okay. The suspicious site, right, uses the Crow logo and brand name prominently with content. So now this can be false because Crow actually is there in more than 140 countries. So we have actually not applied any, right, because this is just a dummy data I was just showing to you. So we have not applied any kind of right tweaking and twisting of rules here. So that's why it is showing, right, this also as a phishing domain. But when we actually apply proper rules and configure it properly, I think you will not get a lot of false positives and all. So it will give you only the things that are very important and true positives only. So all right, if somebody is using your domain and doing phishing, I think you will get these kind of alerts, and then we can actually take actions. Okay, whatever actions you want to take, we can take out. Okay, like for example, okay, I can actually do, and then yeah, right. If I actually want to take down, I can click on this takedown and it will, right, ask me, right, I think, are you really sure you want to do a takedown? And then I can do it. There is a little process. Then I can actually, right, the service provider can do a takedown. Okay. Keyword threats. This is actually one of very important thing. So keyword threats is like, you can say it is a like what wildcard thing, right? Wildcard like star. So any keyword that you have, right? Maybe your CEO keyword, or maybe you have any your domain keyword, or you have anything, right? Anything you feel that using this keywords, there can be a lot of impersonation, there can be a lot of frauds happening. So using those keywords, actually you can get a lot of alerts also. Okay, so now how many keywords you have? I think you see the keywords can be very clearly mentioned, right? So it can be a product name, it can be an executive name, it can be, right, any identity, anything it can be. So any keyword that you want to monitor, we can monitor on the dark net, on the dark web, on the social media platform, everywhere, and then we can give you a alert for that. Okay, social threats. Okay, like for example, see here, I think Instagram. Maybe I think if somebody is using our, okay, I'll just quickly open this. I hope it opens. Yeah. See, if somebody is using our Crow brand logo on the Instagram. Okay, now this can be genuine. Okay, it can be one of our partner, right, from right, Soberman, somebody, it can be there. But in case if somebody is using Crow logos, I think that also gets triggered. Okay, if somebody is using on Facebook or something, that also gets triggered. But here most of them actually are Instagram ones, because we have a lot of Instagram things. But yeah, I think maybe see this one, Oman status something, maybe it is on Twitter. Yeah, see, somebody has posted on Twitter. Okay, so it also got so whatever, right, somebody is doing it, it will alert you. Now it is the service provider's responsibility to check whether it is a false positive, true positive, and then give you a final assessment. Okay, website impersonation. Okay, currently anybody have not impersonated our group, so that's why you don't see anything. So this is all about the brand monitoring. Okay, it will do rogue application check, code repository, phishing domain, keyword threat, social threat, website impersonation. It will do all this. Okay, then I will go to the infrastructure monitoring. Now, obviously your domain is hosted, right? Your application is hosted on some server, right? So that server will have an IP address. If somebody is using that IP for some XYZ reason, okay, or if that IP actually has become blacklisted, right? Anything, I think you will get a complete picture of your IP, right, and then we can take whatever action, right, accordingly we can take. Okay, and then if you have any web applications, okay, you actually get here, we don't have any blacklisted. So if something gets blacklisted, somebody has now, I think you will get all this information here. So this is the infrastructure monitoring. Then security assessment, it will go and actually check for the vulnerabilities also. Okay, We don't have any vulnerabilities, but if your domain has any vulnerabilities, right, it can be SQL injection attack, it can be any cross-site scripting attack. So if your website or if your domain has any kind of vulnerabilities, open vulnerabilities, it will actually show that vulnerabilities to you. Okay. Then the open ports, obviously the application can run on any specific port numbers. Okay. For example, if your application is running on 443 port number, so only 443 port has to be open. No other port should be open, right? Because if other ports are open, attackers can actually use that port numbers and do an attack. So what all open ports are available, it will actually give you an alert. So based on that, you will get, okay, I think these ports I should disable. I think this port should not be open because that are not required for your application to function. So I think that open ports information, you will get it. App misconfigurations, if there is any misconfiguration in the app, you will get it. Okay. SSL scans, if somebody is doing, you will get it. And dead domains, if you have, right, anything. So this actually is a dead domain. Okay. So we are not using this domain actively. It is dead, but it's still there on the internet. Because when there is a domain which is not active and it is dead, it actually has to be removed. It has to be completely deleted from internet now. But if it is not removed, it is still available on the internet. I think it will flag, and then based on this, you can actually take the required action. Because dead domains are very important to monitor, because using this dead domain, because dead domains, nobody monitors, nobody updates, nobody, right, do anything on that. So it actually has a lot of backdoors. So I think we have to be very careful with the dead domains. Okay. Then email health. Okay, so you have, I was talking about, maybe I think I'll first show you the SMTP part. Okay, I think we don't actually here, it will actually show you the DKM value, DMARC value. Okay, what exactly is that value? So it will give you that. Okay, if the DMARC value is not configured for you, it will trigger saying that the DMARC value is not set up for this. So please, it will give you recommendations also. Okay, I don't have real data to show you at this point in time. I think for phishing or for the DNS health. Okay. Maybe I can, when I do demo for your customers, right, one-to-one, I can actually show. Okay. And dark web threats. Okay. These are some credential leaks. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you actually have credential leaks on the corporate. Okay. And on the customer. Okay. So when I say corporate, here you actually see these are all dummy data. Okay. So you can see crove.com. So these users actually has logged into this particular website, and these are like all social websites. Okay. These are like edureka.com. So these are some social websites. They'll actually logged into these websites. Okay. And then they gave the ID and password. So these websites were compromised. Because of these websites compromised, their accounts also got compromised. Okay. And this particular platform was able to crawl to this darknet and dark web and was able to get all this information, which URL, which user, which password it was able to do. So now with this, you can actually know which all credentials got leaked for your customers or for your employees, and then you can take required actions. Okay. When I say actually customers, these actually are your customer websites. Okay. Like somebody logged into crove.com registration using this ID and password, their password got compromised. See, this is very important when you actually have, maybe I think you any bank logins, any exchange logins. If somebody is actually logging to your bank website, ID and password, if their account is compromised, then there is a high chance there can be a financial fraud, right? So you will actually get a complete visibility where you can take action. So these actually are the credential leaks. Okay. Then you have infected systems also. Yeah. So again, infected systems, I'll open one. Maybe I think somebody used this clear pass. If I click on this, okay. So it will actually show you, yes, from which machine actually it got compromised. So this machine was compromised. Okay. Earlier I told you it was the website was compromised, but here this machine got compromised. So we can actually connect to this user. We can check, right, what machine is this, whether it is a corporate machine. It is not, I think it is, yeah, it is a corporate machine, I believe. Yeah. If it is a corporate machine, then I think we have to, maybe I can just click on this. Okay. It will give you, yeah. Yeah, so here I think it's a corporate machine, because corporate machine was not available. It was not able to, but I think you will find for some, not for everything, I would say. Maybe let me open this. Yeah, somebody used this particular desktop, okay, to compromise. So you will actually get the credential leaks, the infected systems, and on the dark network, if somebody, right, something is happening on the dark net, I think you will get this, and card leaks also you will get. I think card leaks, we don't issue any cards, that's why you don't have. But if there are any card leaks, it will very clearly give you the card number, the CVV number, the expiry date, everything you, right, will be leaked here. So you will have that information. With this information, you can actually connect with your customers, you can connect with your employees, right? You can take all the required respective actions. Okay. Supply chain risk. because as I said, so third party security is LFI security. Okay, so right, you cannot think, okay, they are third party, so we'll not be worried about their security, because through them actually the attack can penetrate into your network. So you have to be very careful with third party security also. So if in case if you have any third parties, so that also we can monitor. If any of the third parties credential gets leaked, I think you will be able to find it here. If any infected systems, you will be able to find, so that you can actually notify to your third party team saying, okay, boss, I think your credentials got leaked, so can you please take required action? So this will help you. Okay, so we have some scanners like deep fake scanners, malware scanners, IOC scanners, right, which I was speaking about, and this actually is a takedown status. Okay, so for example, if I take any takedown, okay, it will completely track, okay, how many takedown requests, how many are open, how many are closed. It will give you that accountability. It will give you that audit logging, right? You can track when exactly it was created, when it was updated. It will give you that complete information. Okay. Like for example, you want to add, you can write everything and then you can update so that it gets captured. So this is all about tracking. Okay. I'm just doing it quick because I think I only have 5 minutes left. Okay. And then I think we have some reports. Okay. So we can actually generate a lot of instant reports from this. And then these reports actually can be sent to your CEO or to your whoever is responsible. So we can send it to them. Okay. Then we actually have threat intelligence as well. Okay. So this is what's happening across the globe, right? What kind of threats are happening, everything. So this information we can share it to you. Okay, either in a report format, either in a it depends how exactly the service contract we are having with you. So based on that, I think we can actually share you the required information that is very important to your organization. So not everything might be important, but we actually see what is important to you, and then according to that important, we can actually let you know that this is very important, and then you should implement this in your organization. Something like that. So we do actually that prioritization for you and give the only required threat intelligence report, not because we cannot dump everything onto you, right? So we give what is mandatory and what is important to you. So this will be more like tailored threat intelligence for you. Okay. So this our security pulse is just giving you something. Okay. It's not really anything. Okay. So this something and all. So now actually I'll quickly go to the dashboard. So these kind of dashboard you will be able to access, okay? Because to maintain the transparency, you will when you actually get the service from Pro, so you will not be able to see everything that everything right here, right? You will not be able to see, but what you will see is you will actually have access to this CXO dashboard. Okay, so this dashboard will be able, you will be able to access. You will be able to see how many brand monitoring alerts are there, how many infrastructure alerts are there, how many security assessment alerts are there. You will get all this picture, everything transparent. Okay, you need any detailed information on any of this, like you want to understand what brand monitoring alert was this, can you give me more details? I think we can share you anyhow. I think there will be weekly reports submitted to you. Okay, there will be daily reports, depends on what kind of service agreements we are having. So in the reports you will get all this information, but at any point in time, ad hoc basis, you just logged into this and you want to understand something about this, you can always reach out to our team. They can actually give you more detailed information. Okay, so what is the overall risk score? What is your security gear? Right, A plus obviously is excellent posture. Okay, so all this information you can get it. Okay, and then compliance dashboard also we have just in case. Okay, this also we track. For example, non-compliance, okay, ISO 27001, SOC 2, all the international frameworks that we have. So we can actually do that, okay, module wise. Okay, compliance like in brand monitoring, how many root causes, infrastructure monitoring. So all these things will, these two dashboards will be available to you. So you can always log into these dashboards and then this is to ensure that there is a transparency. Okay. Yeah, I think this is, I was talking about the demo. I will quickly, I think I only have 1 minute left. I'll just I'll just go through some questions here. I think some of my team members have responded. Insurance companies excluded from this. I think license, finance, exchange houses. Okay, yeah, no, I think insurance companies, insurance brokers also part of it. Maybe I think, yeah, we actually have missed it. I think all license. So yes, insurance companies definitely, okay, are part of this. Okay. Okay, how such fraudulent apps are approved by Play Store or App Store? They have some approval process. Absolutely, Mustafa. So they have the approval process. Okay, but there are a lot of ways actually you can actually get into Play Store and App Store. Okay, so they have definitely they have their own process. It cannot be like right. Everything can be right hosted on the App Store or Play Store. So, but again, see, they actually check some. They have some mechanism, right? So that process. So obviously, the attackers also when they are building this rogue application, they also are aware of it, right? How we are aware of that. Okay, what the App Store or the Play Store processes or the methods are, okay, to approve, right, to host some applications on their Play Store or App Store. So what, because the attackers also know this, right? How we know it, attackers also, so they ensure that they actually are following all that guidelines and all. See, I think App Store and Play Store are not here to do any, right, brand reputation support or right monitoring for us. So they're not going to do all these checks for us. So they only have their own guidelines. Maybe I think the malware stuff, they will check some basic checks. If right, all those things are right true, then I think they will allow. And then one more thing, I think through links also you can actually download supply application. That also is possible. So, but yes, right, I think there is a way how you can actually deploy rogue applications on the App Stores and Play Store. We have seen a lot of applications coming. Okay, I think still that is happening. Okay, maybe I think so. This is not applicable for. No. I think it is completely applicable. I'm really sorry. Okay, I think we have to Vishnu, Madhu, and to Niveen Hassan. Right, to two of you. I think for insurance companies it is applicable. Okay, insurance and insurance brokers it is applicable. All the LFIs, because insurance companies fall into LFI, so it is right applicable to you. Like I'll just respond to you later. I'll just so they have given extension on this till 30th June. Okay, 30th June actually is the first risk assessment. I'm not sure if there is any further notice from the regulations that the LFIs might have received it. So I'm not sure when you say Zishan, it got extended to 30 June. So 30 June extended is for the implementation or for the risk assessment? If you are there in this call, if you can. Mohammed Zishan. Yeah, there is a notice saying that there is an extension for implementation. Okay, great. Yeah, I think it was very, to be honest, right? I think February actually it got released and then March 30 they actually wanted to implement. It was very short timeline. Okay, see, maybe I think this they actually have did because to ensure that everybody is. Okay, I think this regulation. Okay, good, yeah, Zikshan. I think good to have this information. Okay, so yeah, it's good that actually it got right postponed. Okay, till 30 June for implementation. That means you still have time. Okay, you can definitely deploy this.
Shahnawaz, there is a question from Seshan. Where are the physical servers for this? In the UAE or outside? I think we have it in UAE, right?
Where are the physical servers for this in the UAE? No. See, I think this is completely. I think we actually have. When you say physical servers in this,
means I think where our Cygnus Brand Guard.
No. It will be, see, this actually, see how you need to understand how exactly this works. Okay, this actually works based on artificial intelligence. Okay, so this is all about the LLMs and all. So we don't have this in the UAE. We actually have it in India. Okay, and there is no restrictions from the regulations that you need to have it in the UAE because this is all about external attack surface monitoring. This is not internal monitoring. So now whatever you are searching, actually you are searching on the internet only, right? On the dark net, on the dark web, on the internet, everything you are searching on internet only. So there is no, but it cannot be applicable, right? Because if you understand logically, so it is not applicable, right? Because everything that you are monitoring is outside, right? Your network only. So right, when you are monitoring everything outside, so you are, because I think this artificial intelligence setup is very costly, right? I think you need to have that GPU servers, right? LLMs you have to develop, train. So it's a very cumbersome. So I think we actually have a trained team, okay, in India. So they actually have developed all the AI and LLMs for us. So we are actually right using that, and then I think the application is being used. So it is not in UAE, it is outside UAE, it is in India. So we can make an account in this website. Which website you're saying, Sheikha Mubarak? So he's talking about
they would have assumed about this Brand Guard as a website.
No. This is not a website, right, Sheikha Mubarak. So this is actually a platform, right, that actually keeps you 24/7 comply to this particular brand monitoring notice. It will actually do all the monitoring for you. It will check for the fake domains. It will check for your social media platforms. It will check for your credential leak. It will check for your card leaks. It will check right, your CEO, CFO, executive level, right, impersonations happening. It will check all, right, what all is required as per the regulations. Everything actually is available in this particular platform, which I just showed, which is a Cygnus Brand Guard. So this is right from Crove. So you can actually, right, connect with me, or maybe I think with Manish, or right, Manoj also is there in this call. So you can actually connect with us. Then we can have one-on-one call. We can explain you how we do it, what we do it, what exactly are the commercials, how exactly you will get the service. Okay, how it, whether it will be 24/7. Now it depends, right, what kind of agreement we are going to. I think everything can be discussed, but it cannot be done here. So it has to be a one-on-one discussion. We can have that discussion. Yeah, I think I have covered almost all the questions from this.
One last
Yeah.
question, I think, again from Seshan. What is the baseline price? Okay, that we will get back.
Yeah, I think I did not discuss on the pricing, Zishan here, right here. So I can definitely connect. I think Zishan, I believe you, right? I think I have your email. I believe I can get it from this, right? I can actually connect to you, Zishan, after this webinar. Okay, immediately I can connect with you. We can have a one-on-one call. I can explain you, okay, everything. And then I think, because here I cannot discuss our pricing and all, because there are so many people. So I can have one-on-one call. I can discuss with you. Okay. Sure. I think we are already right 5-6 minutes.
Yes, I think we can wind up. If any further question is there, I think they can get back to us separately.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, we are available
thank
in
you so
email.
much.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks
Okay.
everyone. Thanks so much for joining this session. Appreciate all your time.